Morning, everybody. I think the technical difficulties are resolved. Maybe. We'll find out. Welcome. In these practice streams, I like to share what I'm practicing, how I'm practicing. As somebody who's been drumming since 1998, been teaching since 2003, and has a wide range of experience, like performing and teaching and whatnot. Now, in all these practice streams, which you can find in this playlist, there's over 350 of them, and there's timestamps in the description, and you can jump to see what I was practicing or what I was talking about. Sometimes people come into the different chats that I've got up, and they'll ask me questions about how to improve as drumming or even as an educator, since I've taught every grade, kindergarten through doctoral student, and again, been drumming since 1998. I have edited a lot of those responses down and put them into this drumming tips playlist that's got over a dozen hours of free drumming tips on a wide range of topics. So if you click on one of these, there are timestamps in the description that shows like the different things that I was talking about. So sometimes it's just one video that talks about one thing, and then other times there's many other things, like when it says and other drumming tips. So you can check out the timestamps to see what else you might be able to learn from there. Now, all of the play-alongs that I demonstrate in these streams, you can find on my home tab of YouTube. We've got drumming, gaming, computer science stuff. So if you scroll down right here on the home tab, we've got so much content that it's hard to kind of organize it on YouTube. So you have to click on the header, and then it expands to show you all of these playlists. Over 2,000 play-alongs, over a dozen hours of drumming tips, blah, 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 blah. Now, again, because it's not organized very neatly, like what I've got on the top of every one of the play-alongs and in the pinned comment in every one of the drumming videos is a link to here. This is my website. Dr. Deathwish, hey, welcome back. Appreciate you stopping in again. Hope you've been good. Do it. Oh, yes, Edwards, we're going to do that here in a moment. Don't you worry about that. But anyways, on my website, we've got the chop exercises. There's 62 of them. We've got over 1,000 grid variations, 419 for triplet, 577 for 16th note, 36 wacky ones like hurt to grid and other random stuff. There's 150 plus timing exercises, 55 drum charts for straight and swung, a video that shows how I develop independence so you can learn it too. Over 400 marching bass stuff, just under 400 technique exercises, all the drumming tips, all the live streams, some scripted videos where I like show you how to hold traditional grip, or my stretch and massage routine, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff is free. Any of the videos that say members first, there's over a year's worth of those. They're all scheduled to release for free. A new one daily. So if you see one and you're like, I really want to do that, and it's members first, I can't access it, it'll come out. I promise. So none of my stuff's behind a paywall. I just have so much of it that I'm like, well, might as well make it so you can have early access if you want it. Almost at 10K? That's right. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. Why are we getting to 10,000? Because we are powered by Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is here to motivate us. Speaking of, let's get motivated so we can work on tenors today. Come on, Shia. Help me out. Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true. Just do it! Some people dream success, while you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Shia LaBeouf. I am so ready. You started watching when I had 300 people. Wow. OG right there. OG. Now, today, the plan. I'm going to warm up. I'm going to stretch and massage. And then I'm going to work out of this book, Quad Logic. Highly recommended by Bill Bachman. It's great. So there's a solo in the back called Beatlicious. And we're going to refine that and try and get better at it. But the thing is, I marched traditional grip, so I marched snare drum. So we'll see how I do. Wish me luck. Favorite WGI DCI quad feature? And why is it Blue Devils 2016? Okay. You're funny. Okay. Have you seen Cadets 2000? That one's a good one. I like that one. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's good. Cadets 2000. They put their tenors on their stands. They're playing behind their backs. They're running around each other. It's a good drum break. All right, let's warm up. So I'm gonna warm up. There's a bunch of exercises to pick from. Thousands. But let's warm up with a classic. So haven't drummed yet. So wish me luck. This one, unlike the other play-alongs, is missing parts of it. You can hear all of it, you just can't see all of it. Why? Because of copyright. So Murray Gussick and I, Murray's the composer for this, reached an agreement where I was like, okay, if do some specific stuff, like make it so it's like not monetized or anything like that, and make it so you can't see all the music and still like promote, go into tap space so you can get it. It can be a resource for people to practice with. So you can practice with this if you are so interested in doing so. It goes as slow as 20 beats a minute or as fast as 1 to 60. But I'm going to just use this to warm up, get the blood flowing, the hands going. Good morning on YouTube. And let's turn up the volume. Cadets 2000 is your second favorite. It's a good one, right? I love it. Couple more times, just trying to get the blood flowing. Late. My sticks are just slowly sliding out of my hands. So I was like, no. There was one time where I was playing through it and like got back to here. Like we lost the 2 fingers. I need to retape these. They're like worn down. But these are the Hardeman hammers with like extra heavy chopsticks. I highly recommend them for getting your chops going and whatnot. But anyways, let's play through it again. This time hopefully without almost losing a stick. Weird. 5s at the end. Cool. Now I'm going to stretch and massage. So let's do that. Do I have some guidelines on how long to practice each day? How good do you want to be? It depends on how good you want to be and how fast you want to get there. Because it's a numbers game. You can't shortcut the amount of hours it takes to develop a skill. And you got to find ways to do it efficiently, effectively, without burning yourself out, which is way easier said than done. So, for example, when I decided to start practicing, really practicing, it was several hours a day, every day. That led to some issues with my hands because the technique that I was taught was a very tight technique initially, and I didn't have the stretch and massage routine that I'm doing right now. So it led to some bad things with my hands getting hurt and whatnot. But because I wanted to get really good really fast, I was drumming all day, every single day. But if you spend even an hour a day, you can make more progress than somebody spending 5 hours a day if you're working on the right stuff. So a lot of people, what they'll end up doing is they will practice the chop stuff or show excerpts or the flashy stuff or stick tricks or whatever. None of that matters when it comes to the actual audition, making a line. This morning I just listened to a short interview with Scott Johnson, so the caption head for the Blue Devils, and he was talking about, like, I don't care what kind of stick tricks you can do. I don't care about the flashy stuff that you can do. What I care about is, like, how consistent you are and, like, whether or not you can play clean with a line. So if you focus on practicing the fundamentals, like the technique exercises that are on my website or on the home tab of YouTube, if you prefer to stay on there, if you focus on slowing those down and refining your technique, and you spend an hour or two a day on that, you will make way more progress than somebody who spends like 5 to 10 hours a day on like the chop stuff. Ironically, there's like a bit of a paradox where if you practice stuff slow, it helps you to be able to play faster in the long run. But it's again, a numbers game. It's all about, can you devote the amount of time on the right things, the technique stuff, refining things, and can you get feedback on it? Whether it's feedback from an instructor, from your peers, or like posting like on social media, or like on the r/drumline on Reddit and like asking for feedback there, or showing up at auditions and asking for feedback there. But the best way is like private lessons, which I don't do private lessons anymore, so that's not a plug for myself. But back when I used to take lessons and teach lessons, like that was the fastest way to get feedback. But if you want like more specifics on like how to practice, on my home tab of YouTube, there's a playlist here for you that has a ton of elaboration on what I was just talking about. Literally over a dozen hours of tips in here, so the drumming tips. What I'd recommend doing is like looking for the titles that look interesting, because that's like the first thing that I talk about in those videos. Like you could look at like drumline audition tips, or like how to like work on your accent taps, or whatever it is that you want to work on. And then eventually, once you've gone through the ones that look interesting, where it says "and other drumming tips," that means there's like multiple other clips in there that I'm talking about. So you can check out those to see if there's other things of interest to you. But yeah, it's all about the efficiency of the practice. So I can't give you a specific, well, it's like 5 hours a day. So to get extra nerdy, because my PhD is in music education, and I've done some research on skill acquisition and expertise development, they found that in order to maintain a high level of expertise, it takes about 10 hours a week of practice in general. So to improve, it takes at least that. So a couple hours a day. But like when I was an undergrad and I was getting my undergraduate in music education, I was on a percussion performance full ride. So I had to spend 3-4 hours a day minimum practicing. And that was just the norm. It can be done if you take care of your hands and whatnot. But I have done 6+ hours a day every day. When you get into all days, if you're doing like DCI or WGI, it'll literally be like 12 hours a day where you are like rehearsing, practicing, or whatever. So the more the merrier. But if you can get feedback, then cool. It's a fun PhD. Yeah, so that was my initial research interest, but what's even more fun is my dissertation is on people making music with old video game hardware. So if you go to so the link that's at the top of each one of the play-alongs /drum, it just takes you to the website. But if you go to publications, you can find the dissertation in here. So if you scroll down, where is it? Somewhere, this one. So corpus-assisted discourse analysis of music-related practices discussed within chipmusic.org. It's a mouthful. But the link to it, like when you open it up, there's like such cool stuff in here, super nerdy. Like in the appendix at the very end, we're showing like, here's some different examples of how people modified like retro video game hardware to be able to make new music and sound with it, like Game Boys and whatnot. So there's some really cool stuff in here, but it was like super nerdy dissertation, and I'm very grateful I was able to like study that and then all the skill acquisition and expertise stuff. But anyways, I just rambled a bunch. But if you're interested in any of that stuff, it's all available on my website for free. Anyways, we stretch and massage. If you want to see what I was doing for the stretch and massage routine, you can find that underneath the tips section. So it's this hand routine saved my drumming. So that specifically outlines what I recommend, even if you're doing like snare drum, like the stretches for that and whatnot. But I'm going to work on Beatlicious, which I'm not very good at yet. You're a middle schooler, been on audition for Blue Devils B next year. That's awesome. Yeah. So focus on, if you go to /drum on my website, ignore the chop stuff for now. Focus specifically, if you scroll down, on the technique exercises here. This is the most important thing to work on, and slow it down. I still practice at 40 beats a minute because it helps me to refine my technique. And then once you've like worked on technique stuff for the majority of your practicing, probably 50 to 60% of your time, maybe 30 to 40% of your time could be on grid variations. But as a middle schooler, I'd really focus on just the top stuff with like diddle on one or flam on one. Maybe get into cheeses, flam drags, and flam fives if you're comfortable with those. But if you're not, there's the Rudiment Builders playlist right here. This has some great fundamental exercises that can help you develop your flam accents, your cheeses, your flam drags, and your flam fives. Those are like the 3 most solid rudiments that I can recommend to work on for any kind of DCI, WGI group. But anyways, do I find learning sheets on a screen or on a paper is easier for me? Interesting. I mean, I prefer it on the screen when it's a play along like this because then I can hear the interpretation of it and like practice listening into it. So that's what I prefer. So like if we go into the technique exercises here, like let's say I wanted to work on 5-stroke roll timing. So like the exercise in here, like I could do it with this. This will help me to develop like perfect interpretation while working on it. And I can't get that from physical paper. So this is why I prefer to make these play-alongs rather than like a PDF of like all of the play-alongs, because when it's got the timestamps in here, like you can really hear, well, what does this sound like at 40? Or like, what does this sound like at 200 and everything in between? But going slow with this is my preferred, which is why I prefer the digital. But it can be a little draining on the eyes because I'm always in front of the computer, either writing music, editing videos, or gaming or whatever. Why did I switch from traditional to match on snare? So, good question. So traditional grip has very limited applications. You can use it like obviously marching on snare drum, whether you're on a tilt or on a flat drum. You can use it on concert snare. You can use it on drum kit, and that's it. So as somebody who had a full ride in percussion performance, I had to play marimba a bunch. I had to play vibraphone. I had to play timpani, like all these other instruments that match grip was better for if I'm playing like with 2 mallets. The only thing that might sort of transfer over is if I was doing like 4 mallets, like a one-handed roll. Like, okay, that sort of transfers over, but other than that, like, wasn't really super useful for me. And from an educational standpoint, like, it made more sense to teach students to have the more versatile of the 2 grips, since match grip can be used on nearly anything. So it made more educational sense, and then it made more sense as a performer for me because I was doing all the concert stuff. If all I did was like do drum kit and like rudimental snare, then I could get away with it. Even concert snare, if that's like literally at a symphony the only instrument you played there, you could get away with it. But I know very few people who do that. And for me, like as a caption head for drum lines, because I was like overseeing all of the instructors and taught all of the instruments, I needed to be good at all of them. So like I learned how to play tenors, but I learned how to play it backwards, so I could be in front of them and play their part in reverse off the left. And that made me a more versatile player, like knowing marimba and whatnot made it so that I could work with the front ensemble. Like I was a pit instructor for a WGI group as well. But like having the ability to teach multiple different instruments just expanded my opportunities for what I could actually teach as an educator. And I've always wanted to, like, my career decisions have been trying to help more people. And so if I was just a snare tech, I could only help like the 4 to like 8 people or 10 people, however many on the snare line in that moment. But if I was a caption head, knowing all of the instruments, then I could teach all of the students, which is why I did that. And then which is why I became like a classroom educator. And then why I decided to become a professor, like getting the PhD, so then I could teach teachers and indirectly be able to help thousands more students than I could like just working at one school. But then like while I was finishing the PhD, then a weird kind of roundabout story, I went into computer science education. even though all 3 of my degrees are in music education. But then I started working at a nonprofit route and made computer science education resources that millions of teachers and students have used around the world. And so like that expanded the reach more. But then because I had that experience, I was like, well, what if I do that with drumming and make resources that are free that people can use? And so then I started like doing that because COVID was going on and there were lockdowns. So like I couldn't teach drumline. So I was like, well, I can make digital resources. What if I make instructional videos? Blah, 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 blah. Really long-winded answer of saying I want to impact more people and have hopefully a positive impact on the world with like the teaching drumming or gaming or whatever that I do. And so all those like career changes and shifts have been guided by wanting to help more people. Long answer for why I went from traditional to match. Sorry about that. Anyways, okay, so, I don't need this actually. I'm going to work on Beatlicious. So this is coming from this book. Again, it's towards the back. I don't want to show it because of copyright. I don't want to get sued. Bill Bachman, you're a cool dude. But, you know, lawyers sometimes lawyer up. 63 is the page that this is on, that I'll be working on. And I'm going to try and refine the overall playing to make it so that I can get better at it. Because right now, my tenor drumming is not up to my standards. Sorry. I did not prepare this in advance. I need to get the sheet music up on my end so I can see it. Okay. It was hidden. So, we last left off at 70. What? Make your day. Nope, sorry. I'm not going to make your day. I ruined your day. Appo's asking for a review. No, I'm good. Thank you, though. All right, so I switched sticks. These are tenor sticks. They're a bigger bead, shorter, and they are way lighter than the chopsticks, the Hardeman hammers. So they're good for practicing. Tenors, though. 1, 2. Here we go. On the end, to the end. It's cut off. I can't see it. I haven't memorized. Last line. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Let's see what we can improve. Stop. Shh. Thanks. Boop. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the video. Where is this? There's the screen. There we go. I'm just going to go here. Click. Click. Okay, I'm going to mute it. I just need to focus on what it looks like visually for the moment. So here we go. Okay, and I'm going to do this at quarter speed. Woo! So we can really analyze the playing zones and what's working and what I need to improve. Here we go. Beep, bop, bop, bop. Beep, bop, bop, bop. Ah, yeah. So I'm going way too far on that. So on the upstrokes here, I can make that way shorter and go here rather than here. That'd give you a very dull, dead sound, so it wouldn't have any resonance here if we're playing in the center of the tenor heads. But with these pads, you can't really hear that. But they're way better for other stuff. So I need to make that much smaller. Feels weird. Okay. Let's see what else. Yeah, so even that left hand right there, like when playing these different patterns, I don't want to go way far forward. Woo! Hit my stick. What else? Yep, let's hurt the, okay. Okay, that I can move up more. So the crossover part, I'm gonna hear, hitting where my mouse currently is again gonna make it a deader sound. If I move it up more, I can get that resonance in there. Okay. Yeah, so that right hand's moving too much right there. Hello, David. Welcome back. Yeah, still there. See, if I could hear the resonance change, then that would make it so much easier to practice. But the laminates and make it way more articulated, so I prefer it. But in this instance, my playing zones are like way off here because I'm not able to hear when they're off and like make micro adjustments with my technique. It's not like I need to move much. It's just like a small, subtle motion will make a huge difference. Okay. Yep, so that could still be closer. So I could, like, it's gonna make it easier in the long run because the motions are gonna be much smaller. Like, once I adjust, just little adjustments become faster in the long run, more efficient. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, this is the second half, is I'm gonna, like, just loop, like, a phrase, or even just, like, a small chunk, and just really overanalyze, like, where's my playing zones? How's it going? So I'll just kind of like set the metronome and just kind of chill with it for a bit. Yeah, it's still going too high up on that right hand on drum one. Going towards the center. Don't play like that. My excuse is I march snare. If I were a tenor drummer, you'd be like, ooh. This 5-lit part's cool. It's a 5-lits that are 4/3. So if you like heard it with a meta, you're probably like, what? And then it lands right on the downbeat with the paradiddle-diddle 30-second notes right there. It's a cool phrase. When you first hear it, it's like, what? What's going on? Yeah, left hand's too far forward on that. Yep, too low on that right hand crossover. I'm trying to not hit the left hand, but it's making it go to a not good spot. Yeah, that's also too far forward on drums 1 and 2. Still hitting way too high up. And then it like screwed up because I couldn't actually read the music. It was covered up. Okay. Music. There we go. All right, so I'm going to work on phrases. And I'll make it so you can see with that. Okay, stop trying to get me to review your metronome. I'm about to disable you. It's got, like, pay for a membership for this metronome. Wait, what? Why would I need a membership to use a metronome? I'm like 2 seconds away from uninstalling this particular app. All right, let's try this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it without a met for now. I just wanna go through it and feel this and be able to like adjust the speeds on the fly without having to constantly pick up my phone. So this motion, all you're doing is moving between these 2 drums and these 2 drums, even though it's Flam's going down the drums. So boom, 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 boom. So I need to make sure that the motion there is very small and not going like here to here, like nothing like that. So the thing is I want to make sure I don't hit the rim while doing it. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this one, we have just a flam drag and then 2 lefts. That's fine. Here's a weird part for me. I have a tendency to go way too far forward on this, so I need to make it smaller. When playing from the spock to the 2 or 1. That'll give you the resonant sound. So this part is weird. Do I have an exercise for chutichuhs? No. I'm trying to remember what, because there's many different names for some rudiments. The closest one off the top of my head is the Chicago exercises, but I don't think so. I don't remember. You can describe what it is, because sometimes, like, I learned this the hard way when chopping out with an instructor one time. He's like, put some stutters on that. And I was like, what is that? But stutters is the name that he used for a cheese. So if you describe, like, it's a flam on 1 with a backflip on 3, maybe I've got an exercise for it. So the hard part about this is not playing the crossovers like that, trying to make it even. Jeffrey, good morning. Welcome back. And this left hand, or the left drum, I'm trying to get the right hand up a little bit more. So it's out of the way of the stick here. Right flam, and then... Oh, there's some Swiss exercises. So Swiss is a little different than that. So Swiss is usually in triplets, but... So Swiss, so flam tap, right? There's some, like, there's a bunch of grid variations for that. There's some Chug exercises for that. But if you look at the Chug framework, underneath the chop exercises, there's a playlist for Chug, and you could potentially put the chutichuh inside of there and work on it that way. Paradiddles without accents and flams on the 3rd note. Yeah, so if you put the chutichuh, so you have it on the 2, make that into a chutichuh, and then you can do that. If that makes sense. Anyways. But I don't have a specific exercise for that. Yet. Again, try to not do that. You're welcome. Oh, also, Let me actually show you another thing that can help you out with this. So the chutichuh you could put underneath technique. There's two playlists here that are helpful. So one is fast, slow, fast, and the other is slow, fast, slow. So it's a practicing tool that's like a metronome that starts off at a speed and then it'll speed up and then slow back down to that speed. Or if we go with fast, slow, fast, it starts at a faster speed, slows all the way down, and then speeds back up. So if you click on the playlist for this, like let's say you're working on a chutichuh and you can play it at like 90 or something. Because it's 16th note based, what you'd want to do is go into the 16th note version right here and say, okay, maybe I can play it at 90. So maybe I'm going to try and do it from 40 to 95 to 40. Excuse me. And when you click on it, it'll count off. And then it will go up one click at a time every 4 beats. And that'll make it so that you can like sit there and practice the rudiment. Oh, it's a quarter speed. I was like, why is it going so slow? It's from when watching the stream. So you could play through the rudiment. Oops, it's not playing now. Go. When it counts it off. Why is it muted? So you sit there, and now it's at 41. And then 42. And so it's a slow process, but it slowly goes up to whatever your maximum speed is. In this case, I selected for 95. And then it'll hold it at that maximum speed for 4 measures. And then it'll slow back down again once it goes through here. So it starts slow, it goes fast, and then it slows back down. Hello on YouTube. And it goes all the way back down to 40. So that's another way that you can work on your chutichuh, is use those exercises. Anyways, I hope that helps. All right, let's take a look at this. Okay, so I want to make sure I don't turn that into that rhythm, so I don't want to have slurred hurtas while playing that. But the playing sounds are a little bit better. I'll work on that. The next one, nope. So that one I just need to not move as much. This one, the crossover Flammus, I just need to not be all the way down here, like low. I need to get up. So this hand, I'm trying to get it out of the way here, but I'm going too far over on this. So I need to not hit in the center, and I need to make it economical here. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Just Braxton here. Trying to get better. Okay, that feels better, more economical. Next phrase. So because you're moving around the drums so much, you just kind of want the endpoints to make sure that you're in a good playing zone, and then whether you're here or here or here is kind of irrelevant. What you really need to just focus on is just making it equidistant so you can have smooth motion while moving. I'm just kind of aiming here, the lower part, rather than like closest to like boom, 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 like that. This part, again, it's another crossover. It's kind of a weird one. I don't want to go too far over. Don't want to hit the center of the heads. But I guess the question is, do I want to do stick over stick and then go to wrist over wrist? So the wrist being, above the wrist, or stick above the stick for the first part, or wrist over wrist the entire time. If I was playing on the small set of tenors, I'd probably do stick over stick, but I could potentially get away with it. But the problem is it changes my wrist angle. So it's not consistent. It's like this, so I can get it out of the way. I'm hitting the rim here because I'm trying to get it as close as I can because I was going too far over here. So I'm making adjustments. Flawless. I'll continue to refine that one. Let's see, next phrase. I don't need to move as far back on this left hand. Having a tendency to go like back here. Looking at the music. So the hard part about this one is you don't want to have like a right hand heavy when doing this. So you want it to be an actual like double stop without it going like this. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to focus on here. Do you ever play games on Roblox on the gaming streams? I have not. Never actually played it. Today we're playing through Little Nightmares 2. We'll try and get through the first couple chapters of that. And then Thursday we're going to start Assassin's Creed Shadows when that releases. So those are the games that I'm currently playing. What's next? Okay. I gotta focus on not letting it, the hand that's crossing over affect the hand that's underneath. So, ooh, the left hand in this case. I don't want that to be affected. You excited to see Little Nightmares 2? Yeah, it's good. The VODs are up for Little Nightmares 1 if you're interested in seeing what that's like. It was an interesting twist to the ending of that game. I won't give any spoilers, but it was interesting. I'm looking forward to playing number 2 today. Okay, so this single part is a little weird. Because it's kind of like your hands are following each other while doing this. And then you repeat it with the diddles, which is like fine. Trying to make the motion smaller. Flawless. Trying to figure out what's causing the rhythm click on there. Are we going to play full tempo today? Wishful thinking. Yes, full tempo at half speed. We'll get there. One day. One day. Today is not that day. Today we're trying to refine the playing zones. I'm playing too close to the center on some of the crossovers and whatnot. So I'm trying to be more efficient with my playing. Okay, I'll continue to refine that. Next phrase. The same thing as the beginning. But then it changes it here. I just gotta make sure that I'm staying up. This hurta phrase, super simple. Just keeps repeating it. I like it. It's a good phrase. Don't need to practice that. Beep, bop, bop, bop. Okay, so the 5-lit pattern. It's a 4/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when it's doing it, it's only got an accent on the first of the 5 notes. So the crossover is not like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a weird way to play it when you're crossing over and keeping it at a tap height. But in general, I think I'm okay-ish on the playing zones there. I just need to make sure that my hand underneath is not being affected by the hand on top as much. Okay. My left hand accents aren't as loud as my right. I'll need to practice that. Okay, so paradiddle diddle. That one's fine. The left hand doesn't move. So it's just chilling here the whole time. I just can't let the right hand affect it. Whatever I'm doing, the left hand's just gotta hang out there. Next phrase. This right hand is going too low. Thanks. Yeah, I know. Okay, I know. I'm spending a lot of time on this. I get it. I started late. We had technical difficulties. I get it. Give me 1 second. So the last phrase actually doesn't have a ton of stuff in here that is too wonky for the playing zones. So we'll adjust this real quick, and then I will chop out. And then we're going to get ready for some Little Nightmares 2. Which didn't live up to the name. I had no nightmares. No small ones, no large ones. 1 out of 5 stars. I am disappointed. I wanted to be scared. Although the ending of that first game, it reminded me so much of Spirited Away. It just, I don't know, had the vibe. Nope. Come on. Sorry. Go, and there, and there, and there. Okay, come on. All right, there we go. Finally. Okay, so the last bit, I actually got to scroll. Can't read it. Okay, so... I like those. Like cheesy poofs. The slurred fives. Not what that rhythm is, but that phrasing, it's fun. And then this one I could also bring the left hand in on these. I'm going too far forward. See? Whoa. Next phrase. Need to get the left hand up more. All rim. So this pattern is a weird one. So you're playing the same thing, right, right, left, left, but rhythmically, the right hand is twice as fast as the left hand, and the left hand is just kind of trailing behind. So if we blur it all together so it's all the same rhythm, you're just doing this with a right hand accent. But because the rhythm, that's what you're playing for that. Ew. This crossover part's weird. So you have a shot, but the bum, 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 So left hand and then right hand. Is weird. Let's see. So this left hand, I can move it up more. This right hand, I can do there. Okay. Improvement, but let's try it with the Met and, you know, actually playing in time. Whoop. Why do you need a home tab on a metronome? I don't know. Question the developer's decisions. Okay. Can't see it all. There we go. 1 and 2 and... Slurred. I'm actually rushing on some of these phrases. 1, 2, try it again. hitting all the mics. Okay, still lots to work on. But better, just, got to get more consistent with it. And then speed it up, all that stuff. But I'm going to chop out now. Okay. Let's get the heavy sticks. Yeah. Let's go back to here. So this, again, is where all the play-alongs are located. On my website. Nice and neatly organized. Let's do... What do I want to play today to chop out with? Let's do that. So we're going to do Chug. Chug. So inside of here, there's a bunch of different variations. And I'm going to do cheese chutichuh with cheese inverts. One of my favorites. With all these play-alongs, you just go into the timestamp and you say, I want to play at this speed, and then it'll count you off, and then you can play along to it. Do I have Susie? I've got Susie. I've got the other part of, who put the sous-vide on the queso or whatever? It's under the chop section. Good one, right? Good choppy variation of Chug. But yeah, for Susie, if you want the other half of it, it's the Chicago workout is that one. So those are technically two different exercises, and Roger Carter put them together. But on here, I went with the OG version where they are two separate things. Over 2,000 more on my channel's home tab. I put accents as paradiddles on the end, so you paradiddle. It's a fun variation. At least I think so. If you don't think it's fun, you can unsubscribe right about meow. I'm sorry, but did you just say meow? Do I look like a cat to you? Paradiddle, yeah. This is definitely going to be the complete breaking point. 120. Wish me luck. I need water. I'm stalling. Enjoy that ASMR. This is gonna be fast. Too fast. And I put a paradiddle here, so I was doing it off the left on the second half. Cool. That's a fun exercise. I like it. There are many more Chug variations and over 2,000 different play-alongs if you go to here. So if you go to here, a home tab of YouTube, we've got drumming, gaming, computer science stuff. That was fast. It was fun, though. With these heavy sticks, it's an extra challenge, but I like it. If you click on the drumming content header, it expands to show you all of the different drumming playlists. But there's a lot of them. So if you are like, I like this exercise, I'm practicing using the timestamps in the description, and you want to find more, but you want to find them organized neater than what I can do on YouTube, the first link in this goes to jaredoleary.com/drum. That takes you here. This is where you can find 62 chop exercises organized neatly here. There's a lot more chug variations in here and a lot of other fun stuff that you can play slow or fast or whatever you want. I highly recommend working on grid variations. There's a reason why there's over 1,000 of them for triplet, 16th note, and then some wacky ones in this playlist. Work on rudiment on 1 for both triplet and 16th note, and that'll take you really far, I promise. If you want to work on limb independent stuff, we got 150 plus timing exercises that you can work on doing limb independence, or 55 drum charts, both straight and swung. And here's a video that shows you how to develop limb independence. There's over 400 marching bass exercises, just under 400 technique exercises. I highly recommend spending most of your time on the technique stuff. It'll help you improve your endurance and speed, or your timing transitions, or your triplet diddles, or your roll timing, or whatever you choose to work on. And then here's where you can find all the tips, the live streams, the scripted videos, pad reviews, not sponsored or anything, blah, 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 blah. If you enjoy this content, just to share it with another drummer, be like, hey, your diddles are not great. Here's an exercise that can help you out. Be kinder than that. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm going to call it here. I need to get ready to set up for Little Nightmares 2. Interesting game, the first one. We just beat it yesterday, so stay tuned for that. I appreciate everybody stopping by. I hope you all enjoyed these free resources. I do enjoy making them, and hopefully it's helpful, but I'm going to call it, so goodbye.